Welcome to Not Guilty, Lawyers, Guns, and Money.
Welcome to Not Guilty, Lawyers, Guns, and Money with Edward D. Johnson III, founding attorney of Edward Johnson and Associates, PC. Edward is a Chicago criminal defense attorney who regularly handles cases involving gun charges, firearm restrictions, and the legal issues that come up when someone is denied the right to legally possess a firearm in Illinois. I'm LeAnn Lyon, and today we're breaking down why firearm ID card applicants, also known as FOID card applicants, get denied and what those denials can mean for your record and your rights moving forward. Hello, Edward. It's great to see you again.
Great to see you again, LeAnn. Thanks for having me.
So, Edward, before getting into denials, what is a FOID card and why does the state require it in Illinois?
In Illinois, the state requires a FOID card, and that's just to purchase firearms. They require it so that you've already been actually gotten a background check, and they've ran you through the LEAD system in Illinois. That's another acronym for basically a background check. And once you get that, you can go to any legal firearm store and purchase a firearm, or you can buy a firearm off a third party that's not a business, as long as you both have a FOID card. There's also CCLs, which is a concealed carry license. So that's another licensing you need to get in order to carry a firearm and conceal it on your person.
So when someone submits an application, what is the state actually reviewing behind the scenes?
Well, here, let me give you the big top 5 biggest mistakes people make, because I'm getting all these calls in my office and everyone doesn't seem to understand what the reason their FOID card is getting denied for. So let me just rattle off 5 quick top reasons why it's getting denied when you apply. Okay, you go to the IllinoisStatePolice.org, ISP.org, fill out this form, and they're getting a denial letter. The first biggest thing that they get, the reason you're getting denied, is because you have a felony conviction. You can't have a firearm. It's an easy one. You're going to get denied. There's nothing you can do unless you can get the governor to give you a pardon on it. Okay, so first one's felony convictions. The next one, if you have a conviction for domestic violence, any sort of domestic violence case, getting denied. If you get an order of protection because of that too, or someone puts that against you in a domestic situation or stalking, you can't have a firearm. Mental health admissions is number 3. You know, if you go into a mental health facility for 30 days or get admitted by somebody else, you got to wait like 5 to 7 years. You're getting denied, and they're going to deny you so you can show that you're in good health. The fourth one's going to be any substance abuse issues. If you go into a treatment facility, you do any of those, they consider that mental health as well. Or if you have any pending charges that are still open, if you have warrants, if you have other things, they're not going to close out your FOID card. They're going to deny you. So those are the 5. What we're running into is really the biggest issue is people not understanding those big top 5 ones. And I mean, we get 10 calls a day about it, trying to lower those calls. So I'm doing this podcast just to push people over to hear us kind of discuss these issues that come up.
Perfect. So in that case, what the state is actually reviewing behind the scenes is checking to see if maybe you've lied about any of those things, I'm guessing.
Well, it's all done by the Illinois State Police Agency. So they'll look back, they have access to all those databases, and they'll see, oh no, looks like you have a criminal background. They'll run your social security and run your fingerprint ID number if you've ever been arrested before, and they'll cross-reference it with leads and an FBI background check. So they find out about everything. If it didn't all happen in Illinois, they get it with the FBI check, and they're going to deny you.
So how do prior arrests or past cases, especially ones that did not lead to convictions, but maybe they were still fingerprinted, end up affecting an application?
So anything that falls under like a felony arrest, you'll see domestic violence arrests or orders of protection that were obviously thrown out. That will trigger a denial, and you'll have to file an appeal. And it's super easy to file an appeal, but you can also, if you beat a case or if you're found not guilty or if the case was dismissed, we can help you. We can file an expungement for you and expunge that case. They'll still see it in the FBI background, but there'll be a little asterisk right next to it, and they'll be like, oh, that means it got expunged. So that they'll get you through the approval process.
Okay, the expungement will get them theoretically through an approval process, or potentially through a approval process.
Yes, through the appeal process, it'll get approved.
And when you mention, domestic violence situations like that, um, let's just take something like a bar fight. Two people get in a bar fight, um, and it's eventually dismissed, or maybe it's kind of small, but it's not like a 30-day mental health challenge. Or what about that? Even a small mental health challenge, an overnight, one weekend stay. Do all of those get an immediate denial first?
If there's anything with violence in it and you get charged, like a aggravated battery, or an assault with a firearm or something where you're pointing a gun at somebody, or a bat or a weapon, and that is still on your record, but let's say the other victim or whoever doesn't show up to court, case gets dismissed, it's still, they're going to find it. You should expunge it. You need to hire, you call our office, we'll take care of it. But it takes a long time too. If you're in Cook County, the expungement time frame right now is 6 months to 8 months, how long it takes. So get on it, get it through, get it filed. We can do it all for you.
And mental health history, or past treatment records. Can you speak about that a little bit?
Depending on the type of mental issues that you're having, but it's they default on denials. Like, they just, if there was something that happened, they're going to deny it. You're going to have to come up with when you were released, that you're better, those situations, and you still might not be successful. So it might not be worth your time. You don't need a firearm, or you can move out of Illinois and go to Texas, and they'll give you one when you get off the airport. So you just go to a gun show and you can get a gun. I mean, you're fine.
Oh, that was actually going to be one of my follow-up questions. Is Illinois special in this way in the FOID card? Is this something that other states, maybe nearby or elsewhere, also do?
No, this is just like they're trying to put more black people in jail by like having these FOID cards. It's just completely the worst thing ever for anybody, any minority, anyone that doesn't have the type of understanding of this. They're just completely requiring this one. Like, you weren't even, so here, you weren't even able to get the FOID card on the website if you had a cell phone. You had to have a computer, and it's still like that. So people that can't afford their own computer can't even get a FOID card. They can't even do it on their phone, which is, there was some, I mean, there's just certain things that this is been ruled unconstitutional one time with an Aguilar claim, and that was 2014. And they've also, it's like Illinois and Washington D.C. have the worst gun rules in the United States.
Wow. I appreciate that. I hear your passion for that, and it breaks my heart as well. That's so frustrating to hear.
Well, it's one of those things where uh, I didn't really understand it. I grew up here, and then I went to law school in Colorado, and they have very different gun laws where they're saying things like, "Oh, well, there wouldn't be school shootings if all the teachers had guns," right? And it's a different mindset out there than it is in Illinois, where they're like, no one should have guns, and that's where I think kind of I really could see the other arguments that I never really was exposed to growing up. See, I don't know how it is in Minnesota, but maybe you could tell me, like, do they require firearms to be concealed, or do you need special licensing?
Firearms do not need to be concealed in Minnesota. You do have to have a carry permit in order to carry a loaded firearm, whether it's concealed or not concealed. So it's not called a concealed carry. It's just called a carry license.
Oh, I like that. And do you have to take a class, or do you just have to fill out a form? Yeah, they give you a little safety course.
Yep.
And that's where the CCL seems to be like, okay, if you want to carry the gun around, sure, take a safety course. Why not? It's a weekend, right? It's not super expensive. You could do that. But just to get a FOID card, just to purchase firearms, seems a little bit restrictive compared to even your state.
It's done kind of backwards too. I mean, from what you do, is that I think it's a 4-hour class. And then when you finish it, which does improve, which also you have to prove that you can actually shoot a firearm straight. Then
Right. gotta load it and
You have to show that you can load it, unload it, not point it at anybody in the class, which, by the way, people have been kicked out of classes for
exactly
turning it on somebody. Hey, is this right? With no intention of causing harm, but if you're just not that aware, or people that just literally they don't know how to shoot it, that hits the floor every time, you get thrown out of the class right away. But then you have to take that paper, go to your local sheriff, then you get the background check, they put the stamp of approval on it, they'll do they'll question if there's anything to be questioned. But I don't know if there's any automatic denials or how that would work.
Oh, there is.
I'm sure
everyone everyone, especially if you're a felon, you can't do this.
Right.
Absolutely.
Much. Yeah. The one thing I learned about felons is the removal of your passport. That would be crushing. You can't have a passport if you have a felony. That would be terrible.
Well, the issue is a lot of the other countries won't let you in.
There's that.
So you end up flying there, and they're like, it's just, yeah.
That's a good point. So back to this topic. So what are there situations where someone gets denied and doesn't immediately understand why?
It seems like people just get really upset. They're like, why can't I get this? We get these calls all the time. I told you those top 5 reasons, like really why they get denied. They have a letter that they send you through that portal that it's really straightforward. And it could be more than one of those top 5. It could be all 5. That you could have a felony domestic where then you went to a mental hospital and, then you get the top score of denial on that one.
So what does the process look like if someone wants to challenge a denial in that case?
It's super simple. They can do it themselves. I've told people to do it themselves. If they don't believe me, they can watch this podcast. We kind of walk through exactly what you have to do. There's an appeal process with an email. You write a letter. You get other people with FOID cards that think you're a trusted person. As long as you're compliant with all those different factors that they're requesting on the Illinois State Police website, you send it to the email. You wait like 60 to 90 days. They'll get back to you and they'll probably approve it. But the next hurdle is then getting the CCO.
Sure, absolutely. And it's an important step. I mean, there is a lot to learn. It is a big responsibility. So in another show, we've talked about, there's certain things that people come to attorneys for where you don't pay up front. However, in the case of an expungement or contesting a FOID card, is there an upfront fee sometimes?
For us, we don't actually represent people in appeals anymore. I have too many right now. That's why I want to do this podcast, to tell people so that they can do it themselves and save the money. We think that if you need help with the expungement, if there is a situation where, this case got dismissed, call us. We do expungements for a flat rate. It changes based on what county we're filing it in and how many different cases you're trying to do. If you're in Chicagoland, you can go to the headquarters of the Chicago Police Department, which is right next to the White Sox Stadium. Go over there. They'll run your fingerprints for $11, give you a full rap sheet. Get that, and then give us a call, and we can get all that stuff removed or let you know what you can seal, what you can expunge, and it'll be done. It's the best way to do it. You get that rap sheet, you go down there, takes like 5 minutes, piece of cake.
Well, there you go. And I'm sure that you have more information about this on your website, which we'll talk about at the end. So can you share an example of a case where a FOID denial came down to something the person didn't expect, maybe not one of your top 5?
Most of those denials are just people that really run into the issue of just, it's more organizational, or they were in a different state, or really old people that got something that happened like in the 60s or 50s and they weren't, using it, or there was a huge scandal and they stopped doing it with Illinois State Police where they were putting people in the gang database, and and once you get put in the gang database, there's no way to get out of the gang database or to appeal that you were put in it. There's no process for removing it. And they were somehow clicking some box when they were filling everything out. The police were, and putting people in as if they were gang members, and they weren't. And then later they grow up, this comes up, they're looking for a gun, they're trying to work a security job, there's other issues, and they're trying to exercise their Second Amendment rights. They don't have any convictions, they've never been in trouble, and it's saying, no, you're a gang member. So then they started, then the lawsuits started coming in. It's been better, but that's been the biggest blindside that I think a lot of our clients ran into, was through the gang database.
Well, if somebody is thinking about applying and there may be something in their background, what should they do before they submit that application?
Go down to the headquarters of the Chicago Police Department, CPD, right next to the White Sox Guaranteed Rate Field on like 35th Street. You go get fingerprinted, pay $11, and then get a copy. They'll mail you a copy to your last known address of the background check in like 7 to 10 days. Send us the background check and let's set up a consultation.
Perfect. Well, thank you to our audience for listening to Not Guilty, Lawyers, Guns, and Money with Edward D. Johnson III of Edward Johnson and Associates, PC. If your FOID card application has been denied or you're concerned about your eligibility, visit edwardjohnsonlaw.com to learn how Edward and his team can help you understand your options and protect your rights. Remember to like, subscribe to the show, and leave a review if you found this episode helpful. Thank you, Edward.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.